and welcome to another insightful episode of Tax File. I am your host, Laure Bala Hassan. Here's what's coming up on today's episode. Tax news, the latest updates and developments in the tax world. Did you know? A surprising tax fact or insight you should know. Vox Pop, we hit the streets to hear public opinions on today's topic. Knowledge Zone, breaking down key tax concepts in a simple way. Professional insights, experts' analysis to keep you informed. What's on the nets? The tax conversations trending online. It's a packed episode, so stick around, let's dive in. Let's bring you up to speed with the latest news. The Medium Taxpayers Group recently held a retreat focused on enhancing capacity and collaboration to achieve high performance. During the event, the Field Operations Monitoring Department, FOMD, committed to monitoring the 331 field offices to ensure the services they render to taxpayers meet required standards. The areas of monitoring include adherence to KPI thresholds, e-services laws, policies, programs and extant laws, as well as measuring efficiency in audits and case closures.
The Medium Tax Group, I keep saying it, they've had the most productive output driven so far for technology.
Our job majorly is to ensure that we inspect compliance of processes. We assess and track implementation of policies that be rolled out by management, whether they are applied as prescribed by management, to ensure the flow of procedures and standards in the system. And that drives voluntary compliance and behavior.
As part of FIR's strategic plan to achieve a set target of 25.02 trillion naira, the Large Taxpayers Group organized a high-powered retreat in Abuja. The retreat aimed to bring stakeholders together to discuss facility enhancement, staff training, capacity building, and technology integration towards achieving overall targets. Swateku has the reports.
In his opening speech, Executive Chairman Dr. Zak Adedeji appreciated and welcomed the group, pledging his support to the Large Taxpayers Group. Dr. Adedeji commended the group's hard work, which enabled the service to exceed the 2024 targets.
I would also want to commend the leadership of Large Tax Group for organizing this timely and impactful retreat. This gathering provides a unique platform to deliberate on navigating new trends, challenges, and opportunities that will improve taxpayers' compliance.
He assured the group of his commitment to providing the necessary support and resources to achieve the set targets. The coordinating director of the Large Taxpayers Group, Amina Ado, who is also the convener of the retreat, participated in a panel session and stated that while FIRS supports the government in policy formulation, tax policy itself is generally a political affair. FIRS provides technical advice, but policy decisions are ultimately political. The retreat's theme, Navigating New Trends in Improving Taxpayers' Compliance, focused on collaboration, facility enhancement, capacity building, and technology integration as key factors in achieving the service's goals.
The executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, Zak Adedeji, has assured of measures to prioritize and mitigate risks that could impact the service's operations. Adedeji, in a notification to FIRS staff on risk-related matters, said such measures would involve careful planning and strategic initiatives. He said the leadership would focus on maintaining high standards in the daily operations of the service to minimize disruptions and inefficiencies. Usaina Ibrahim reports.
Adedeji highlighted the service's commitment to upholding compliance with tax obligations, emphasizing registration, filing, payment, and accurate reporting as non-negotiable. He stressed the importance of robust financial controls and prudent strategies to safeguard public funds while fostering trust and strong relationship with stakeholders. He assured stakeholders that the service would ensure a strong internal control system to protect adherence to legal requirements and uphold its reputation. He further emphasized the role of technology in enhancing the service's operations, stating that robust, responsive, and flexible IT infrastructure will be deployed to protect information system and mitigate risk. The service is set to leverage partnerships, innovations, and flexible strategies to protect assets and personnel, while ensuring the core mandate of efficient revenue collection is achieved responsibly and sustainably. Adedeji commended the dedication of staff in effective staff administration and risk management, underlining their critical role in informed decision-making. He emphasized the need for continuous engagement to improve understanding of the service risk appetite and how it applies to individual roles. By fostering this collective understanding, the service aims to strengthen proactive risk management and support its overarching goals.
Meanwhile, the executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Zak Adedeji, has acknowledged the contribution of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, in advancing the nation's tax administration. Adedeji made the acknowledgement when he received a delegation from the Executive Council of ICAN on a visit to the FIRS in Abuja, that the service would continue to partner with the Institute in the interest of national development. The Institute's courtesy visit to the executive chairman was part of the activities ahead of the official inauguration of the FIRS ICAN chapter. Aisha Abdulkadir reports.
Adedeji noted the strength of FIRS as the largest and the most active chapter of ICAN with more than 2,000 members. He promised that FIRS will continue to be a partner in progress with the Institute. Mr. Davison Alaribe, ICAN president, who led the council members, commended the transformative leadership of Adedeji in Nigerians' revenue generation and the opportunities provided to its members as the highest employer of chartered accountants in Nigeria. The coordinating director of medium taxpayer groups, Dr. Dick Ire, who represented the executive chairman of FIRS at the inauguration of the FIRS ICAN chapter, urged the leadership to uphold the core values of professionalism. Other highlights of the occasion include the decoration of the executive chairman of FIRS as the grand patron of the FIRS ICAN chapter by the president of the institute, Mr. Davison Alaribe.
And that wraps up the news. Let's take you to our Did You Know segment where we uncover some interesting facts.
Did you know FIRS has restructured some of its operations? Offices previously known as Small Tax Office have been restructured and now to be known as Emerging Tax Office to optimize efficiency and serve you better.
Over to Mariam for our Vox Pop segment where we bring your opinions to the show.
Hello and welcome. My name is Mariam Julie Edura. Today we've hit the streets again to find out what the public knows to be the function of the Federal Inland Revenue Service. What do you know are the functions of the Federal Inland Revenue Service?
I know about their after mobilization of revenue, taxes, and all the other things for the government use.
What do you know to be the functions of the FIRS?
Well, the FIRS, when the FIRS are doing well, based on they're helping the government to get the tax so that they can mobilize many things in Nigeria. When during Buhari was not, the FIRS were not functioning like Tinubu. The way Tinubu charged everything and put it in table, they are doing well. They are okay.
What do you know are the functions of the Federal Inland Revenue Service? What are its functions?
No idea.
They deal with the revenue collection and, management of the revenue within the country. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
That's all I know.
Okay. We're grateful.
Thank you.
Well, the function is tax collector. It generates revenue for the federal government. Thank you, madam.
They are the people that people supposed to give revenue for land whenever they buy land or any government land like that, and they will give them revenue. That's what I know about.
Okay, thank you. We want to find out what you know to be the functions of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS.
Yeah, I believe one of the functions of the Federal Inland Revenue is to mobilize and to generate funds for the federal government. So those are the only thing I think you are doing.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks very much.
Let's bring Ashu to take us through the knowledge zone.
Welcome to Knowledge Zone. I am Ashu Abe. Today I will be talking about the functions of FIRS. The functions of FIRS, according to the Establishment Act of 2007, includes assessment of taxable persons, companies, etc. Assess, collect, account for, and enforce payment. In partnership with other government NDAs, review tax regimes and promote taxation as stimulant to economic growth and development. Collect, recover, and pay into designated account all taxes in the Act. Collaborate with relevant enforcement agencies to do examination, investigation, and enforce compliance. Periodically determine, estimate financial loss accruable to government due to tax fraud and evasion. Adopt measures to freeze, confiscate, or seize proceeds from tax evasion and fraud. Use compliance and regulatory detection and control measures to prevent non-compliance. Collaborate with national, international stakeholders through rapid information sharing on tax matters, staff exchange programs with relevant agencies on capacity building, and many more.
Finally, let's gain some expert perspectives on the professional insight where our guest is already waiting.
One of the critical roles of medium taxpayers groups is to provide seamless platform for government MDAs at the federal, state, and local government level to comply with their tax obligations. And so when you talk about medium taxpayers, who are medium taxpayers in FIRS, they're actually those that have turnover between 1 billion and 5 billion. So we provide the required platform for them to comply voluntarily with what they are expected to do for us to be able to generate enough resources for development in Nigeria. So these are basically what we do, trying to ensure that there are, a good system in place for them to be able to comply, providing the kind of technology, the kind of education that they need, the kind of collaboration that is necessary for people to do what they need to do. What we do is that when you look at strategies, there are actually two strategies that we pursue. One strategy is the one that can help us sustain voluntary compliance, while the other one is to deter non-compliance. So what do we do with voluntary compliance? We try to help them do what they are supposed to do by giving them constant education, by providing technology that will help them to comply, to register, to file, to make payment for taxes, and to also report as at when due. So talking about deterrence is very key, because one of the things that is important in tax administration globally is the fact that for those that are not doing the right thing, they have to be brought to book. So one is to encourage them to do the right thing, while the other is to deter, so that those that are paying will be rest assured that those that are not paying are actually taken care of. So we use these two strategies to achieve the goal of compliance. Talking about how we use technology to drive taxpayer service, our system right now is customer centricity. So how do we focus on the customer? Because the taxpayers are customers. So what do? We use technology like social media to reach out to our taxpayers. We also provide platforms. For instance, in our field offices, we have self-service stations where taxpayers come to use the services and get their issues resolved. And when you talk about audit, we use technology in identifying the taxpayers to be audited, because we have so many taxpayers and we don't have the capacity to audit all of them. So we carry out what we call risk analysis. And with technology, you are able to analyze to know taxpayers that have higher risk, so that you don't necessarily need to disturb those that are already complying. For those that have risk are the people that will be subjected to tax audit. And by the end of the day, you are able to deter, you are able to encourage those that are complying, because those that are not complying are actually audited properly. Taxpayer Service Department is a very key element of tax administration. And what do we mean? Taxpayer Service Department, although it's a headquarter department, it has units across all the field offices of the Federation. So what do? They are there to respond to taxpayers' needs. They are there to respond to queries and inquiries from taxpayers. And beside that, as I've mentioned earlier, they are also there to put out the necessary information that taxpayers need to know for them to be able to comply adequately. One of the things that we have done recently is to go to taxpayers where we can meet them. And we do this through town hall meeting. We also go to trade fairs for us to be able to meet taxpayers and try to encourage them to comply, try to tell them what they need to do. Because most of the times they discover that people don't comply because they are not aware of their obligation. So Taxpayer Service Department is supposed to go out there to tell the people, to tell the taxpayers their obligations. And when most of them know what they are supposed to do, they end up complying. And we believe that this is the best way to sustain voluntary compliance, by going out there to meet with the people, talk to them, tell them what they are supposed to do, what they need to do to register, what they need to do to file, what they need to do to pay their taxes from their comfort of their bedroom, because we have deployed technology. And we also need to encourage them on how to properly report, so they will be far from non-compliant, because it comes with a lot of penalties and all of that. Let me just give you a simple example. We in MTG had an engagement last year with all the accountants general of all the 36 states of the Federation and the director of finance at FCTA. So why did we have that kind of engagement? We needed to bring them together to, number one, listen to their challenges and help them to resolve challenges that could have some legal dimension. There are challenges that are technologically related. So we needed to come together to be able to look at their concerns, their challenges, and provide solutions on how they can seamlessly remit their taxes to government. And another thing that we do also is that we have state monitors in all the 37 locations, that is 36 states and FCT. We call them state monitors. Those people are there to be able to respond quickly to challenges and issues that the state government and the federal agencies in the different states of the Federation are having. So this is what we do. And with the local government having autonomy, meaning they are going to be getting money directly from the federal government, we are already planning on an engagement where we will be meeting with treasurers from different states. And why do we need to meet them? Because we need to meet them to educate them on what they need to do about withholding tax, about value-added tax, about stamp duties, and any other related issues of compliance. So this is what we do, try to collaborate with them to ensure that they do the right thing at the right time. What we are doing has direct bearing with what you see at the federal, the state, and the local government. What do I mean? Last year, MTG generated about over 1 trillion naira. And what that means is that the money that MTG has generated has been shared, for federal, state, and local government. So in all our state, in all our local government, what it means is that we have contributed in raising revenue, in generating domestic resources that have been used by federal government, that have been used in developing our state, that have been used in developing our local government. So we are making effort in ensuring that all the relevant MDAs, all the medium taxpayers are comply voluntarily, because the more they comply, the more we'll be able to have resources for government to develop, all the sectors of the economy. So what we are doing has direct impact, and this year we have a higher target, and we believe that we'll be able to meet up with the target, and the more we are able to meet up with the target, the more the resources will be made available to federal, state, and local government. And so when you have resources at those different levels, development gets close to the people.
Hello everyone, this is What's on the Net. I am Amina Adiola Abbas. Today on X, at NikiShow_911 says, I have a question. Do I have to pay a fee before I can be upgraded to Tax Pro Max? No, you are not required to pay any fees for updates or upgrades on Tax Pro Max. Charges are only applicable as taxes owed to the federal government, which becomes due after a company's income is recognized and tax returns are filed for the relevant period. Once this is done, you can generate a payment reference number, PRN, and proceed to make payments either online or at any nearby bank. For the second question, can you please enlighten the public on the difference between FIRS Teen and JTB Teen? Because it's not nice when we come to your office, we are compelled to register for a new teen, says Adblesso for real on X. Well, the FIRS tax identification number teen is not solemnly for the purpose of opening bank accounts. As the name implies, a tax identification number is a unique ID that distinguishes each corporate entity and serves multiple purposes. The FIRS teen is specifically for corporate entities and can be used nationwide without the need to generate a new teen when opening a new office or relocating to another state. On the other hand, the JTB Teen is a unified identification number used by all state internal revenue services for individuals and enterprises, business names, before the introduction of the JTB Teen. If a resident of Abuja moved to Lagos, they are required to register for a new teen with the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, even if they already had one with the FCT Internal Revenue Service. Similarly, if the same individual later relocates to Port Harcourt, they would need to register for another teen with the Rivers State Internal Revenue Service. However, with the introduction of the JTB Teen, individuals and enterprises can now use the same teen across all states in Nigeria. The only requirement is to update their address in our system. I hope you've been enlightened.
That's it for this episode of Tax File. We hope you've gained valuable insights and a new perspective on today's tax topics. Until next time, stay informed, stay empowered. See you soon. FIRS, simplifying tax, maximizing revenue.